Hello tout le monde. Bonjour. Hi everyone. So Daniel Brisson, FNL Freedom News NouvellesLibres. Thank you again to be here. So today it will be an exclusive interview again with Christine Anderson. She will talk to us about some topics in European land, but also from the Canadian tour and other that coming. By the way, for your information, l'entrevue sera exclusivement en anglais. So there will be translation, il y aura traduction après seulement. Alors, let's welcome rapidly now Christine Anderson. How are you again?
Thank you. I'm doing just fine. How are you? Thanks for having me on again.
Yes, thank you to be there again. And just before starting talking about the topics, thank you for your generosity to be here to talk to people. We'll talk about your Canadian tour. It's supposed to be there rapidly in Canada. So, are you prepared?
I hope so. I sure hope so. I'm kind of dreading the weather there. I was told it was like going to be minus 30 degrees Celsius. This is something I've definitely never experienced before. So I guess we'll find out if I'm even cut out for that kind of a climate.
Yes. So I'm sure you'll do well. There will be, of course, many places in Canada you'll come. So let's see. Where is it? Hey. Oh. Brussels. Let me see. Sorry for that the delay. Oh yes, there it is. So your Canadian tour will begin with Calgary, February 18, and then Toronto, 2021. So there's still tickets, and you must go to the website www.cadtour.com. So www.cadtour.com to buy some tickets, and you will have the chance to meet and talk directly in person with Christine. With me also, February 22, and the last one, February 24. Is it possible that you'll come also visit? You'll go visit people in USA, something like that.
Yes, I will actually then travel to the United States because I will be attending the CPAC. That is the yearly conference of parties, and I will be there. So it's kind of fits neatly together. So I can combine that. Yeah.
So for United States, be prepared to receive Christine Anderson at the CPAC event. Of course, you will talk, I presume, about freedom, about liberty.
I mean, these are the topics, and I'm pretty much talking about that to anyone who has not managed to run away from what I have to say. So yes.
Yeah. Good. And people thank you already for doing that. We'll talk about some issue we're seeing happening now in Europe. A big issue, it seems strange, but many people are talking about it. It's about the insects that people talks about. European Union passed this kind of rules to eat that. My first question, rapidly, will you eat these?
Definitely not. I'm serious. I mean, these aren't the kind of things that when I see it, I kind of, jump and I don't want to get near any of these things. And now they're expecting me to eat it. No, sorry. Not here.
No, my question, no, I understand. And by the way, I don't understand some things. They're already talking about allergies severe with anaphylactic shocks for people already allergic. Though there is already a warning that was raised in front of the commission, but and they told the people, well, you should make more studies before doing it. They will be supposed also to put on labels that there is insect with appropriate indications. I doubt about them. I don't trust them. We'll talk about this one, but how can Europe just pass this? Was there strong debates about it? How can it pass so easily, and they bypass the warnings they already have? Like, it should be okay for people allergic. We don't have the studies yet, but
Mhm.
we go on with that. We go on forward.
Yeah.
What's
Well,
happening?
interesting thing about this is, I mean, first off, a rhetorical question, I'm aware. I mean, why should they bother having any studies done on, the if you eat insects that is safe, if they didn't even bother to conduct studies on, mRNA injection that they gave to billions of people? I mean, seriously, they just don't care. But the
Yeah.
interesting thing is this, though. Um, you ask if there was a lot of debate about this. No, there wasn't. And anyone, bringing this issue up, of obviously was a, conspiracy theorist. And no, this is
Uh-huh.
not true. Absolutely not. And I do remember an article that came out in a magazine in 2016, and they, pretty much uh, had the topic of, why are, it literally said, why are insects, edible
Mm.
insects, forbidden in the EU? And then they listed all kinds of reasons why
Yeah.
this is absolutely unsafe for
Yeah.
people to eat. So that was
Yeah.
2016. And then it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of buried, and it was a
Mm-hmm.
mainstream media outlet. Then it was kind of buried, but, these discussions, they do go on. Yeah, well, in EU Commission, they do go on, possibly in the World Economic Forum, So all of these organizations and entities that they're trying to come up with ways of getting the people to do what they want them to do, but they
Yeah.
do not want to have any public debate on that. So,
Mm.
and most people, they had no clue that this legislation actually went into effect January 24th of this year in EU. They
Yeah.
are now allowed to mix under all kinds of insects, and this is so disgusting. And but like I said, it was, a conspiracy theory. And I would say it's about high time we came up with new conspiracy theories, because
Mm.
the old ones have all become true by now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in essence, a conspiracy theory nowadays really is just a spoiler alert. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
We have good scores about the
right. But
conspiracy theories.
the people really should make no mistakes. I mean, now the very same magazine, by the way, that published that article in 2016 warning, of these edible insects, they are now stating the exact opposite: yummy and nutritious and blah blah blah, and the whole thing. But make no mistake, people, we are going to be the ones eating insects, But the participants in the EU Commission and everyone that's in the club of WEF and whatever, they will still have their steak. Of
Mm.
course they
Oh,
will.
yeah, of course. They won't eat these bugs.
So
No, no, no.
I know.
No, no, no.
I
So
mean, if you wanted to be really nasty about it, you could possibly say, well, Marie Antoinette
mhm.
at least, was willing to give the people cake,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
if
now
we
it's
can say so.
insects.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. No, so it's a shame, but I was surprised that it passed so easily in the Parliament of European Union. As you told, it's not a real Parliament. We can see it. It's like directives, orders, always. So, what's the meaningless of this Parliament? The meaning of this Parliament. So, no debates about important topics. And for information, the Qatar, for another reason, and
Yeah.
this one will be interesting for Germany too. Qatar say insects not halal after you approves it as
Yeah.
food. So Qatar will block it because it's not halal, not because
Yeah.
of health. But the thing interesting is in Germany, I think you have a big population of Muslims now since the last mass immigration you had,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we do. We do. So, I mean, but like you said, this is no parliament. And, I mean, there are no debates going on in this place. But even if there were, it wouldn't make any difference, because the EU Parliament does not have the legislative competency. That is done in the council, and the council is an entity where the executives of the
mm,
member states sit. So you have the ones being in executive power in the member states. They are the ones legislating in EU. And so, like I said, even if there was a debate in EU Parliament, if we voted no on something and the
Yeah.
council said, nah, screw you, we're going to do it anyway, we have no recourse whatsoever. And people really need to understand this. This EU is not only undemocratic, it is anti-democratic. In fact, it is the very means to
Yeah.
undermine democracy, freedom, and the rule of law. And people need to understand this.
Yeah. No, it's a real big issue you have now. And talking about immigration, there is a summit and immigration, like 8 countries of Europe ask for tougher migration laws. So the Denmark, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Slovakia, Greece, Malta, and Austria ask for more rules, more severe rules about mass immigration. What about Germany? What about the rest of Union? Again, is there some debates? And now the summit is coming tomorrow. There will be pressure to talk about these topics. So, what do you think that happened? Will they dare talk to it
Oh,
about
I'm
it?
convinced Germany once again will go out of its way to ensure the entire world that everyone, absolutely everyone, is absolutely welcome in our country.
Mhm.
So what it is starting to show now. We are actually sacrificing our societies,
Mm.
and to me, it was always the biggest accomplishment of any society. To me, always was to have established peace in the public sphere,
Mm.
and that we no longer have. And now even our Secretary of Interior, she was just flabbergasted, asking after I don't know how many times of knife attack there was. There were two girls were stabbed by knives, and
Mm.
he was a known criminal. And she was just asked, well, how is it possible that this man was not in prison? And how is it possible that this man had not been deported by now? Well, guess what, Nancy Faeser? It's your
Mhm.
politics preventing
Yeah.
criminals to be deported. And
Yeah.
then they're standing there. And I'm telling you, in Germany, we have reports about knife stabbings out of the blue. Just someone going nuts, and
Just like that.
stabbing people left and right, sometimes with a machete, sometimes, whatever. And this is happening every day. We are having an increase in not only and the rape numbers, they're spiking, but we're not only talking about a simple rape, we're talking about gang banging. That's going on.
Mm.
And
Yes.
the victims,
Yes.
they're getting younger and younger and younger,
And I
It's always,
remember the mayor who told
yeah,
the young girls,
but
"Do not
it's
show
always
yourself."
labeled as, oh, an unfortunate isolated incident. Well,
Yeah.
how many unfortunate isolated incidents do you need until you see the picture?
Mm.
So what we're doing, we're sacrificing, like I said, to have the public sphere peacefully arranged, so people, of course you have criminals in every society,
Mhm.
but you do not have it on a regular basis, and you do not have it on an everyday basis. And we're
Yeah.
sacrificing all the accomplishments that we had in Europe, where women could walk the street anytime they wanted
Freely.
to,
Mhm.
all by themselves, and the chances of them, something happening to them were slim to none.
Mm.
This is now different.
Oh.
Now even the police advises women to not leave the house by themselves anymore after dark.
So it's
So
already in force. This kind of recommendation from the government.
exactly. But I mean,
Wow.
seriously, really now? So what we're doing is we're actually driving back all the accomplishments, especially that have been accomplished in terms of women's rights.
Yeah.
We're going back on that. No, you have to
Yeah.
stay at home now because something might happen to you. And on public transport, we are now openly discussing to have secluded compartment coaches for
Oh.
women so they will be safe. Well, I am terribly sorry. Isn't that the kind of gender segregation they are living in the Muslim countries? I don't
Yeah.
want that in my country. They can do
No.
in their
No.
country whatever the heck they want, but do not bring it into my country. And
Mm.
then you will have me speaking up against it. It's as
So
simple as that.
yeah, it's interesting and to see about the mass immigration that some countries want to stop in Europe. Seeing Germany not doing anything about it, do you sense there is some population that begin to be aware of this situation, and now they're kind of tired about it.
Well, yeah, because it's becoming more and more difficult. And I remember having a conversation with someone. She was all for, refugees welcome and poor people, we have to help them and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I get that. Of course. The point is this, though. So she was all for it. And, she was debating with me. I obviously, was opposing a point of view. And at the end of our discussion, she then said, well, but I do have to admit, when my daughter, who was 21 at the time, I do have to admit, when my daughter leaves the house at night, I do, recommend to her to better wear some sneakers rather than
Wow.
heels. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. Why would you do that? And it was like, well, so she can run faster. And I'm like, seriously? Seriously? So you do want more refugees, but you inflict on your daughter a burden of having to wear sneakers so she can run faster? Wow,
Yeah.
that's a tell. That's a big tell. So the people do realize what they've gotten themselves into, but most of them are still afraid to just say what they feel on that or believe in that out of
Mhm.
fear to be labeled racist,
Yeah,
Islamophobic,
we have the same
whatever.
issue in Canada too.
I know.
We must not talk about it
I know, but
because
you know what?
you will be
That's
tagged.
especially when talking about Islam. I just want to make one point really clear. Uh, I Islamophobia. It's like
Mm.
you are afraid of Islam. I am not afraid of Islam.
No,
I
no, 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 no.
oppose Islam because it's a misogynistic, dehumanizing ideology. I
Mhm.
oppose it, but it's different. I'm not afraid of it. I oppose it, and I'm very
Yeah,
well within my right to do so.
and you have the right, the absolute right to talk about it. It's still freedom country. The freedom of speech is a big issue
Yeah.
in all the Western world. We have the same fight from over the Atlantic. So, yeah, um, and about Ursula von der Leyen, we talked about European Union, uh, uh, European Union. Pardon me. Uh, I saw recently again European decided to send more weapons and other stuff in Ukraine. Uh, it's continuing. So they put money, they put weapons in Ukraine, but there is corruption scandals that began to get out also about Ukraine. Where the money goes? So
Mhm.
people begin to ask questions. But again, I saw her giving 500 millions again. So
Mhm.
it can be stopped. It's not discussed. It's not debated. It's not debate.
Oh yeah, there are debates on that, obviously,
Mhm.
and once again, you have people that are 100% on that point of view, the others 100% on that point of view. What we're seeing once again, there is no debate in between these two groups. There is debate amongst them, not amongst these people, but
Mhm.
that's not how democracy works. You should
No.
exchange your point of views, but that once again is not possible because the arguments are not, judged on the merits. They're
Mm.
judged good and bad, and
Okay.
depending on what side you're on, the other side good and bad. So this is actually very dangerous for democracies, but that's the situation we are in. And this is only one topic where we have, this bipartisan, basically,
Yeah.
so the polarization, if you will. Yeah, but this is going on, and if people do not get their acts together and
Mhm.
start realizing that democracy lives from debate, the exchange of views on both sides to come to some kind of an agreement, then democracy is sure to fail. And
Yeah.
like I said, this discussion has been, yeah, held, wow, very heatedly, and once again, it's like you are a devil if you are from the differing opinion.
Yeah. It's not supposed to work like that. The democracy. We came from a long story of battles and over battles and wars. We were not supposed to again fall in this trap, but
Yes.
we're falling in it right now. I'm covering also the oil prices. The USA. with the Russia, with the China. So there's a big trade exchange of oil between USA and China, who
I
then
know.
sell it to Europe at the highest prices. Again, you can't. I know you denouncing the situation regularly, but uh, is there someone who listening to you? Is there some people begin again to be aware that the sanctions were against you finally?
Oh yeah, there are people. I mean, in the beginning, it was like anyone, saying anything different than from what the German government wanted, or EU Commission wanted, was obviously a bad guy, and possibly a conspiracy theorist. But the point is this: I mean, we just a couple of days ago we had our 10th anniversary of my party being founded.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been stigmatized, ostracized. We've been called names, any kind of label they could have slapped on us, they did.
Yeah.
So, but the point is this: everything, absolutely everything we have been saying for 10 years now has become reality. And
Mm-hmm.
people are beginning to see this.
Et voilà.
And they're going like, wait a minute, didn't AFD say that like what 8 years ago? And now look, now it's here, So whatever we try to the prospects we were trying to make them aware of, they are
Mm-hmm.
now reality, and they're seeing this, and they are beginning to realize that they might have been lied to by the government, by the media.
Yeah.
When they labeled us conspiracy theorists and whatever, racist, blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
and they're beginning, and I was like, wait a minute, how could that be? But everything they said, in which everything the other parties kept denying was ever going to happen, it
Mm.
happened, and they're seeing this. And I'm very sorry, but there is a saying, you can fool a lot of people for quite some time,
Yeah.
and you can fool some people for a really long time. What you cannot do is fool everyone for the entire time. They will
Yeah.
wake up, and that's what's happening now.
Good. Yeah, and I see it. And by the way, you see your group, Identity and Democracy Group. You wear this. The democracy identity is important. But there is some good news and hope. Let me show you this. Maybe you said it or not. But again, for the tomorrow there will be a summit. You talked about fooling people. Well, this is a good news because Ursula von der Leyen, climate vision is now an existential minefield.
Uh,
Yeah, she could be, she could piss off some people that were supporting her for that. So war,
mhm.
vision, all of that. So the climate vision is going down right now. It's not
Yeah,
doing well from them. That's a good news. I think.
yeah.
What your thought about it?
Well, I mean, this whole climate thing
Mm-hmm.
is just another means to impoverish all the people. It's as simple
Yeah.
as that.
Voilà.
They're talking about imposing carbon dioxide taxes on you, and they're talking about giving you a carbon dioxide footprint, and you have to pay if you exceed this. So once again, the rich, hey, they don't care. I
Yeah.
mean,
And,
if they
and they're buying in United States. You know,
if they went if they
you were
go
the
yeah, if
you
they
were the
go up
right.
their flight allowance,
Yeah.
$5,000, doesn't bother them in the least bit.
Yeah.
And the poor, they actually will have to sell their, let's say, flight allowances per
Mm-hmm.
year
Yeah.
to the rich, because they have so like I said, this is an elitist dystopy they're pulling up again. In Great Britain, I'm sure you're aware, is the first piece of legislation from some regional parliament to impose climate lockdowns,
Yeah.
and they're coming up with these 15-minute neighborhoods.
In Canada and Quebec
And
too.
this is perfect. Seriously.
Yeah.
And once again, look at Saudi Arabia, where they're pulling up this neon city, which is supposed to house 9 million people. I mean, seriously, in the middle of the desert, you're totally dependent. You have a 3-day food subscription with nowhere to run. What do you think is going to happen to you if
Ooh.
you do not exactly as you're told? What do
Yeah.
you think is going to happen to you?
Good luck.
Yeah, well, but it's that is what they're planning for us.
Mm.
And people, if they don't realize, and realize it pretty soon, that we are looking at mass enslavement of all
Mhm.
people around the globe.
Yeah.
God help us all.
Yeah. So we have to fight to continue to talk about it. That's what we're doing. That's the first thing
Yeah,
we have to do, to talk about it. And for people who are listening to us, share
exactly.
it at will. You can take the
Yeah,
extract, share it.
yeah.
Don't worry about it. We
So I'm
must.
terribly sorry. Yeah, I have to run. I have the next appointment coming up.
Oh, so thank you very much again, Christine. We have so many things to talk, many topics, hot topics issue. So we'll welcome you in Canada soon. I will meet you also in Montreal. It will be a pleasure to talk live with you. So thank you very much for your generosity again, and see you soon.
Thank you very much for having me. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. It will be
Yeah,
next week.
yeah.
All
Bye
righty.
bye.
Take
Have
care.
a nice day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.